all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show on the road in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We are here at the Hilton downtown in Baton Rouge in conjunction with our good friends at 107.3 FM Guaranteed Broadcast. And when we're here at the Solutions Summit, the Pelican Institute, I'm joined by Jonathan Williams. Jonathan Williams had he's been on the program before. I think I had him last year. He's a chief economist, executive vice president of, how you say that, ALEC? Anyway, good to see you again.
Great seeing you, my friend.
Where are you positioned out of? Where you live at?
Out of D.C. area. So as I always say, greetings from the land of make-believe. You working
top down or bottom up? I can't ever figure when it's in D.C.
Exactly.
Tell us a little bit about what you do.
So ALEC is the nation's largest nonpartisan membership organization of state legislators. So we work with the men and women who serve in the 50 states that want to do good policy, basically, that work on free market issues, that work on limited government, that work on this idea of federalism. So even though we're based in D.C., we believe that power shouldn't be in D.C. It should be in Baton Rouge and other state capitals.
I got a feeling if y'all looking at budgets in D.C., if you look at the D.C. budget, y'all must be, how you got any hair left?
What a mess. It's a little grayer than it was last time I saw you.
Mine is too, but y'all keep up with that stuff as well. Huh?
We do. I mean, it is, it's an abomination what's going on with the federal budget and spending. I mean, $31.5 trillion now in federal debt that we face. Probably last time we talked, it was $25 trillion. A trillion here, trillion there. Sooner or later, it adds up to real money, unfortunately.
Oh, no. One of the books, Rich States, Poor States, this is something y'all putting out each year?
Every year, without laughter.
It's the 14th edition.
Yeah.
Well, when I glanced through it, and then, of course, you gave me a cheat sheet, too. Louisiana, 50th economic performance rank. And I know you're shaking your head, but I've been on that for, this is my 30th. I'm in my 30th year, and I've been talking about this for 30 years. It is so frustrating. But how do you get where we 50? Just give us a couple of three things that y'all went over that really has us back.
Yeah, I mean, and coming from Michigan, my home state, we were 50th for a long time, too. So I've lived the pain of what you guys
that must have been a long time ago, because we've been kind of the heroes of 50 lately.
Yeah, unfortunately. There's a lot of competition at the bottom, unfortunately. California, New York, Illinois, all these big government states. But what we look at is the three categories. Out-migration, which is the key one, because, as we look at the states that are trying to become more competitive, the states that are doing it right, cutting taxes, becoming more limited government in their philosophy, those are the in-migration states. And when you see the numbers, you were just saying, was it 70,000 in the last 2 years on net have left Louisiana? That's a huge problem. And that goes into this 50th ranking. The Southeast generally has done really well in the last couple of years. People leaving the big cities, high tax states and moving to the Southeast. But, clearly they're not coming to Louisiana. They're going to the no income tax states like Texas, Tennessee, Florida, even Arkansas, Mississippi. Alabama. I mean, I was in Alabama last week.
Alabama's looking at it too.
Alabama's they're up 25,000 in the last year in migration. So they're seeing the exact opposite.
And they ain't got nothing to do with it. By the way, I want people to know it has nothing to do with football team.
That's right. Exactly.
But Jonathan, these numbers looking just like in Louisiana on two or three of them. Go over quickly. You mentioned mild migration, which I know is sticking us. What are a couple other ones you can mention?
Yeah, it's the job growth and the lack of it here relative to other states, and then it's the GDP growth, the overall economic growth of being 48th out of the 50 states in that category. So when you combine all those things together, when you see the lack of job growth, the lack of overall economic growth, no surprise you don't have people coming here, right? People go where there's economic opportunity, Absolutely. And that's one of the key messages from Rich States, Poor States. We've been doing this book for 15 years now. People follow better policy and more economic opportunity.
Our problem has been the reluctance to change to go in the right direction. I'm just being blunt with you. We got a lot of good people here, but we're losing a lot of good people. The people that are leaving are young people. They're educated. You lose people in the 40s and 50s. They get a better opportunity. They go now. And that's what you want to stop. These young people have babies.
That's right.
Okay. And if they care about education, they're going to make sure their kids are educated and working and doing what's right.
Well,
we're losing.
And this gets back to my co-author, Art Laffer. Obviously, he came up with the Laffer curve for Ronald Reagan and the idea of sometimes when you cut taxes, you get more revenue. You don't lose revenue. And guess what? When you keep people here and you're not losing people and you're actually growing your population, that's a lifetime of earnings that then you get to be the beneficiaries of. So people say we can't afford to cut taxes and compete with Texas that way in other states. So you can't afford not to.
Jonathan, that's what they do here. That's not when they say, okay, you're going to cut income tax, you're going to cut sales tax. The first question to ask here, how are you going to make up the revenue? That's the first question. It's not, okay, show us how it works. Ronald Reagan was a great example. Even President Trump was a great example when you look at those policies of how it works. But here, it's so hard to move We move in a step in the right direction, which, by the way, means nothing.
Well, you know what about that topic is I wish the same scrutiny, Moon, would get paid to all this spending growth. Like, how is it we don't have the same scrutiny? Say, how are you going to pay for it when we want to raise spending? It's just when you want to cut taxes.
Oh, no, they don't take a step in the right direction when they want to spend. They get in the fastest car that you could buy and hit the accelerator and go. And never about it. They don't even care who's paying the bill. And it's such a frustration. I'm taking it there's solutions for all this too.
Yeah, there is. And, and that's the common sense solutions that we're seeing states all across the country do. In the last 2 years, we've seen 22 states now cut income tax rates, for instance, because they know that's one of the things that's most important to get small businesses to your state and to get individuals to your state. That's the big one to look at, I think, is the income tax. Louisiana has relatively low income tax rates, but, getting to compete with Texas and Tennessee and Florida.
If you got a rate and they have zero, you can't compete with 3% and zero,
right.
Can you?
Exactly. And now with even Mississippi going to the 4% flat tax this last session, Alabama looking to cut taxes, Arkansas under Sarah Huckabee Sanders, they just did that universal school choice bill she signed into law yesterday, which is the most expansive school choice in the country now, and looking to cut taxes as well. So you got a competitive neighborhood problem, and that the Southeast isn't just a great football powerhouse region, it's a great economic powerhouse region.
Oh, you got a lot of people live down here, and they really don't. You're not seeing a move up north. You're seeing a move around the south.
Exactly.
Most of our losses have come to Texas, Arkansas, and Mississippi. There are a few going to California, and I ain't figured out why. They must be almost getting a car wreck with the people from California that are trying to get out, but they're not moving here.
Yeah, that's right.
Our migration is a gigantic problem that's never been addressed here. You know why? We won't address the business side. We won't address the family side. We only want to address, make sure we got plenty of money for state government.
Yeah, and that's the issue. And of course, then depending so much on the federal government, you don't even have your budget really under control because you get so much from the feds. Huge issue.
They're getting ready to change our state to DC2.
Well,
so you don't have to move that far. Jonathan Williams, how can people get in touch with you?
ALEC.org. ALEC.org.
ALEC.
That's right. It's not Alec Baldwin, the other Alec.
No. The good one. He ain't shot at anybody. All right, we got to take a break. Jonathan Williams, we'll be back more at the Solution Summit right after this.